everyone, my name is Courtney. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information about CASPA and my experience with CASPA. So I didn't know that I was going to apply to PA school last year until about 3 days before the application cycle opened, because I didn't think that I was ready until one of my friends actually pushed me to apply. And so it was definitely a learning experience. As I went, I was not really prepared to apply as soon as the CASPA application cycle opened. So the first section in CASPA is the personal information. There's a few different categories within this section that includes the release statement, biographic information, contact information, citizenship information, race and ethnicity, other information, family information, and environmental factors. So all of this is pretty simple overall. I got it all done in one day. There were a couple things that I needed to reach out to my parents for more information. For example, I didn't know the exact day that my dad joined the Navy, so that was something I need to ask them about. Overall, it's pretty simple and quick. One random thing is I did not fill out the description of my childhood residency because I didn't feel like it was necessary information that really would have benefited or hurt me in any way to include, so I personally left that blank. However, if you have an experience that you think you'd like to share there, then definitely feel free to. So the second section in CASPA is academic history. This includes high schools attended, colleges attended, transcript entry, and standardized tests. So for the transcript entry, you have the option to pay to have someone else enter in your transcript, or you can do it yourself for free. I personally chose to just do it myself. I ordered a transcript, sent it to myself. I entered in all the information, I double checked it. That all took about an hour or two. I personally didn't think it was worth the extra fees on top of all your application fees. So I just did that myself. It didn't take too long. It was easy. I didn't have any issues. Just be careful and double check your work. So the third section of CASPA is the supporting information. This includes your evaluations, your experiences, achievements, licenses, essay memberships. So the evaluations, that's the same thing as letters of recommendation. I made sure to ask my recommenders in person before I requested that letter of recommendation on CASPA. I know with everything going on, not everybody can do that, so just send them an email first to make sure that they're okay with that. I gave each of my recommenders about a month because you can set like a due date for when they need to submit it by. However, I would make sure that you set that due date before you actually plan on submitting your application, because not everybody is going to remember, or they're gonna have other things going on, so that due date can come and go without them submitting it. So definitely make sure that you give them plenty of time just in case, that way you're not waiting on them in order to submit your application. For the experience section, I did that all in one day. This includes your volunteering, shadowing, your patient care experience, any teaching experiences, all sorts of different things. This is pretty much everything that you've been working on in the past however many years all in one section. So it can seem kind of intimidating, but just sit down and knock it all out. I had my sister read it over to review it and edit it to make sure that nothing was worded weird or I wasn't forgetting anything, since she knows me pretty well. So definitely I would have somebody read it over, or read it over yourself a few days later, just to make sure you didn't mess up any of the wording or you didn't forget anything. For the achievement section, this is where you can enter in anything, like if you were honor member in your club, or if you got MVP at work, or if you were on the dean's or the president's list. What I did for the dean's and president's list is I just did one achievement for each, and then in the description I put every single semester that I did get that achievement, instead of listing every single time out and having a long list of dean's list, president's list, dean's list, etc., because I felt like that would have first of all, taken more time from me. Second, I don't think that the PA programs probably care too much to see every single one listed out when you could just do it in a simpler way. For the next section, the license and certification section, this is where I listed that I was a CNA, and you can list anything else like EMT, medical assistant, anything like that you got certified for. For the next section is the essay, that's also known as your personal statement. So this personal statement is what took me the longest personally when I was applying. I started it right away when I was applying, and then it took me all the way right up until I actually submitted. This personal statement is what actually held me back from applying sooner. I would definitely recommend having many people read it so that way they can edit it. I wrote, I rewrote, I changed it so many times just to make sure that it was perfect, because the personal statement is a huge part of your application and it's what is really going to help you stand out. And finally, the last section of CASPA is the program materials. So this is going to look different depending on the programs that you're applying to, but this is going to be where they're going to ask you some questions. They're going to require that you submit some documents. They're going to have you select your required courses that you took, things like that. It's pretty simple. You'll just have to make sure you go through for each program and get this done. So now just a little bit more information about my timeline applying. As I told you earlier, I didn't know I was going to apply this last cycle until about 3 days before the application opened. So I didn't prepare, I didn't have my personal statement done yet, I didn't take the GRE yet. So it just goes to show that you don't need to have these done super far in advance, even though it is obviously helpful to have that done. I took the GRE June 24th, and then I submitted my application about July 15th. And then I got my interview invites in August, but they do go on later past that. My goal was to submit my application by August 1st at the absolute latest. But that just goes to show, don't rush just because the application cycle opens on April 30th. You don't need to have it done within a few days or a month or even a couple months. Take your time, don't rush, you got this. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out to me on Instagram at myway_2PA. Thank you for watching. Bye.